Alright guys, Fula coming to you with another video. I hope you guys are doing well today. I hope you guys are living your best life right now. I hope you guys are finding opportunity where there seems like there may not be any opportunity. This video is going to offend a lot of people, but it is what it is. I hold my line. This is what I stand on. If it offends you, it is what it is. And if you have a valid argument, then I will more or less listen to your valid argument, take in consideration your viewpoint, and add it to my viewpoint. But if you have an invalid argument, then I will more or less delete your comment. So we're today is Valentine's Day, right? And of course, this holiday is one that promotes romanticism and promotes erotic behavior and things of that nature. We understand that. We know that this is a holiday that does that. No question about it, right? Now, the holiday is very commercial. We understand that too. As a matter of fact, all holidays for the most part are very commercial, and very few of them have to do with anything of substance. Okay? Now, me being an African, and also me being a Fula at that, here's some of the reasons why, and this is just due to the fact that, since we're on, this Valentine's wave, you know what I mean? Here's the reason why me personally, I'm going to give my reasons why I will do arranged marriages. I'm going to give you reasons why, and I'm going to give my perspective on love. Because a lot of times when we look at what love is, we look at these Hollywood movies, we look at these reality TV shows, we listen to the music that portrays this love and this image of love, whereas like love takes so much. Love is something that is not just an emotional thing. Love is something that is like very, very much so basically, I want to say, is something that is not just like meant for the physical fulfillment. It's not just meant for you to get dopamine off from being in love. That's not the end all and be all of love, right? That's the whole thing. That's the whole situation that I would like to address, basically. Now, one thing that I will say, this is one thing I will say, and it really resonates with me, is the reason why I would be down for, and that I am probably more or less so going to be one dude who is going to have an arranged marriage, who's going to be arranged to be married with, with the blessing of my family and the blessing of the other family that is involved. More or less so, that's where I'm leaning towards. And the reason why I'm leaning towards that is for number one, usually with an arranged marriage, the families involved are not going to set their daughter up or set their son up with someone who is not an upright person, someone who is not going to be a stand-up person, someone who is not going to take care of their responsibilities. Because they're looking out for their daughter. And the fact of the matter is, they're going to look out for their daughter before anything else. And on the flip side of it, you have the son and the family of the son who is looking for a woman that is not going to be too much trouble, that is going to be submissive, that is going to be a compliment and adds to his life, that is going to enhance his life. And the vice versa, that he's going to enhance her life as well. That's one thing about an arranged marriage, and that's the reason why I would do that. And that's the reason why I'm leaning towards that, is for the simple fact that you have this dynamic where the family, you know, I'm gonna be honest, in my own experience, and it was because I was dragging my feet and I procrastinated. But I had a distant Senegalese relative say that, you know, he had a partner for me. You know, he had a partner for me. He said that, you know, she really misses you and things like that. But the problem is I was dragging my feet. That was the problem. You know what I mean? Because I had so much shit going on here. Another instance was that I had a good close friend, a distant cousin basically. Yeah, he was basically my cousin in Mali, who said, hey, you know, you want my sister? And I'm like, yeah, why not? The reason why I said why not is because they would never, like, they know what my preferences are, and they would not put me up with someone that that didn't work out. And they know what her preferences are, so they're not gonna like put her with someone that's not gonna work out for her preferences. So that's reason number one, is that they're like in an arranged marriage, at least where we come from, you're usually gonna be set up with someone who's going to be able to that both families like have a rapport with. It's not just gonna be a blind like setup. Like you're gonna have a rapport with the family you're set up with. And if it's from a good family, then all you can just really understand is that good will be produced. That's basically it. You know, good is gonna come out of that, right? Reason number two is, I'm sorry, I'm gonna be real. From living in the West, I don't want to go through the effort of approaching these women for the simple fact, in approaching them, we're in the period, we're at the time, the age of time, where if you approach a woman, it's actually looked at as an insult to that woman. Or if you approach a woman, they're going to be like, well, you know, what do you have to offer? They're not going to even want to get to know you off rip. They're going to be, what's in it for me? What's my part of the deal? You know, that's one of the things about that. And I'm not saying all women do it, but I'm going to be honest with you. And a lot of Western women who may follow this page aren't going to be happy, but sure as hell a lot of Western women do that. No matter what their ethnic background's from. You know, and so that's another reason. Like, I just cut all that shit out, because then, you know, you don't have to worry about approaching an arranged marriage. You're already set up. And here's another thing about an arranged marriage that they won't tell you. Before you get married, you're usually going to get to know the person first. You're not going to just, oh, here you go, you guys are going to get married. There's usually going to be a time where you get to know the person, right? So with that being said, it saves you all the trouble. And then when you look at that, then you can say, okay, well, you know, it may not work now. And then you can just move on to the next. And that brings me to another point. This brings me to another bigger point. When you do it like this way, when you do it the way that, you know, it's presented upon reality TV, when you do it upon the way that it's presented in multimedia, you may get so emotionally entwined in that thing that shit will scar you for life. I've seen it many times. Okay, I've seen it many times. I'll give you an example. I will give you a perfect example. There was this one guy, and I'm going to keep his name anonymous, but there was one guy I know who was so invested in his girl. He was so invested in it that he just like was smothering her. He just was like so happy that he had her. He's just so happy that he really that he thought he had the one. He was just so happy about it, right? But something happened. Not only did she cheat one time, she cheated twice, and she cheated with different guys. This guy was actually crying on campus about this issue, whereas the girl was just quiet, didn't say a word. Seemed like she didn't even have any remorse about it. Just really seemed like, wow, like, okay, well, this nigga is like a simp. You know, there was no remorse on her part. But the guy, however, you know, just felt a certain sort of way, and it was just like, wow, this dude is really bothered. You know, and I witnessed this with my own eyes. I saw it, and I was like, damn, you know? So that's one of my other points why that I will probably get an arranged marriage. It's due to the simple fact that you're not putting all these emotions into it where you know you may implode, and your philosophy of women may change, you know, to the worse, you know, just based off of that one bad experience that you had, you know, and vice versa with men, you know. But actually what happens, what I see a lot with women, and it's not all women, as I said before, I see that a lot of women actually will get hurt a couple of times before like they like decide that enough is enough, you know. And I mean, they'll get hurt from different guys because, you know, when it comes to that, they can withstand more, you know. That's what it comes down to. So that's another reason why I'm leaning towards it. Another thing too, and this is not necessarily important, but it does kind of matter. But it's not necessarily like something that I'm like, okay, well, yeah, this is a must. But usually if you're in an arranged marriage, the girl's not going to have mileage. And just as a general rule of thumb, women are going to have more partners than men because women don't have to try as hard to get sex as men do. You know what I mean? That's just the bottom line. And so when you have an arranged marriage, usually that person you're arranged to get married to, their rap sheet is usually like 0 most of the time. And so that's good for you. Like you can like mold her, you know. You can mold her into like your likes and your preferences when it comes to that. That's another reason why I like it. You know, and as for me, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm very selective when it comes to who I lay down with. And it's not like I'm just around there like just like sticking my manioca in anything. Hell no, that's not me. I don't do that shit. You know, it's not because I can't, it's because I choose not to. You know, that's just the bottom line. I need my body to be balanced, you feel me? So yeah. And if you just have so many damn partners, you're gonna whatchamacallit? You're gonna be out of whack. You know what I mean? And that's another reason why that I will that I will more than likely marry arranged is for the simple fact that the men of the family of the woman are going to expect you. They have high expectations of you. So what that in return is going to do, if you are serious about doing this, is that it is going to make you level up. It is going to propel you to level up because of the simple facts that they have high expectations of you. They're putting a trust upon you with giving them their daughter, giving you their daughter, giving you their sister, giving you whoever, you know. And another thing that goes back to the previous point, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to widows, you know, because widows have different circumstances, and I'm not saying that they should be counted out. But in my case, being that I'm like young, being that I don't have any kids, I'm going to be reluctant to pursue a woman with kids just due to the fact that she's stuck in her ways and she has already a preconceived notion about men based off of her previous experience with men. And also, and as a result of that, that kid is not, you're not going to be able to really have the full control over the kid that you would like. That kid in the back of his head is going to always say, you're not my daddy. You know, my daddy is not you. It's always going to be kind of like a combative thing. It's never going to be like peaceful. The only time maybe it's going to be peaceful is that you're bringing kids to the relationship. That's another reason why. You know, that's when you can say, okay, maybe it can be peaceful, maybe it can work out, because you're blending the families. You know, the guy has kids, she has kids, so boom, it's gonna work, right? Now the final thing, okay? Final thing. Usually when you're getting an arranged marriage, the woman is going to be in her early 20s, or between that, like her young 20s and her mid 20s. So she hasn't really experienced life yet. And then as a result of that, you can mold her. You can mold her into something that is going to be, you know, conducive to her living and then conducive to your living. If you get a woman who is like more or less stuck in her ways, then chances are you're going to have like to deal with a combative woman all the time. You know what I mean? So that's another thing that, you know, I'm looking towards. Like I want a woman that can teach me something, but also a woman that I can teach, that will be open to and receptive to what I have to teach her. Because the thing is that it goes back to the family that is involved with the arranged marriage. If they know you're studious or studious, if they know you're hardworking, if they know you're focused, if they know you're upright, if they know you don't lack integrity, if they know that you have all these things, they're going to know their daughter is in good hands and will mold her to have these things as well. And as a result of this, the offspring are going to be upright as well. You're actually producing a future generation that is going to, you know, be against the, be like what we don't see a lot of anymore in today's youth. And I'm going to tell you, as a last and final closing thought for this video, I am an unconventional person. I do things unconventionally if I know that the result of it is going to be in my favor, and if the result of it is going to enhance me. You know what I mean? So I do unconventional things. Arranged marriages are not too like common anymore, but I'm open for it and I will do it, you know, because I've already talked to someone like the thing is, the good thing is about being West African, your geographical like boundaries are very limitless, in terms that you have Nigeria, you have Cameroon, you have Senegal, you have Guinea-Bissau, you have Guinea-Conakry, you have Mali, you have Mauritania. If you want to consider, like, for example, Morocco, technically you can consider Morocco the Maghreb part of West Africa as well. You know, even the south of Algeria, in the old chronicles of Timbuktu, that was looked at as part of West Africa, you know, technically speaking. You have Burkina Faso, you know what I mean? You have Cabo Verde. You have all these places to choose from. And when someone says, you know, I like you for my I like you for my sister, or I like you for my daughter, then, you know, you're on to something. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to be honest with you, this Western way of dating and this Western way of courting, I'm not really for. You know, I'm just going to be real. I'm not going to bend over backwards and be Superman and then, like, not be appreciated for things that I do. I'm not going to do that. You know, I'm not going to really be a part of that. And I'm not trying to be mean, but it just seems like a lot of Western women have this, like, mindset that we're supposed to just be, like, superhuman, and then they're supposed to, like, basically, you know, walk all over us. And I'm not saying all, but I'm saying a lot. And, you know, I'm not going to try to be mean, but I blame it on two things. I blame it on a few things. I blame it on, number one, the whole conscious movement, you know, that whole thing. I blame it on that, because when you call women goddesses, and when you refer to men as kings and queens, then that shit psychologically has an effect on you. And, you know, you may think that you're that, but your character doesn't reflect that. You know, your character doesn't reflect the attributes of that, right? So that's another reason. That's one thing I blame. I also blame it on the neo-feminism movement. I blame it on neoliberalism, and I also blame it on the sexual liberation movement and toxic masculinity movement. I blame it all on these things. That's why right now we're so out of whack. You know what I mean? But, you know, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I hold my line. I'm a traditional nigga. That's just it. You know, I'm an old school nigga in the young soul. No, I'm an old soul in a young body in a young age. That's just me. That's just how I came up. And especially where you come from, the area in LA where I was based at, that's just it. You know, although you had, like, you know, we came up in the, you know, girls ain't nothing but you know what I mean? You had a lot of that. But when you look at it, and when you look at old money, when you look at old, like, when you look at the grandpas and the grandmas of like the generation, you know, you look at them and you see that they've been married for like damn near 20 years, 30 years and stuff like that. You look at them, or that's who I was looking at and soaking up, game asking, like, yo, how did it work for y'all? You know, you guys have been together so long. You know, that's who I look towards. You know, I'm sorry, but I don't look towards this new generation. I mean, if you're millennial, I don't care. Like, I don't look towards you. You know, because the reality is, it's all out of whack right now. So, you know, but that's just it, man. That's all I wanted to say, since it's Valentine's Day and shit. just wanted to get that out there. But anyhow, man, Foolish signing out. Leave your thoughts, leave your comments. Again, if I offended you, oh well. I don't know.